Meet Koos, our favorite floppy-eared explorer. Like most rabbits, Koos loves to hop, hop, hop around from place to place. But unlike most rabbits, Koos doesn't like to sit still and is always on the lookout for somewhere new. Koos takes his backpack with him on every adventure and is prepared for anything. If you look inside, you'll find his carrot compass, which leads him to adventure, his kite to fly and play, and his paintbrush and palette. Koos, why don't you show us what that's for? Come everyone, let's follow Koos and hear about his latest adventure. It was a cold, rainy afternoon, and Koos peered out of his window looking up into the gray, cloudy sky. Although Koos liked the rain, he had planned to fly his kite today. However, the rain was just too heavy. Koos sighed. With no fun to be had at home, he decided to explore somewhere new. Maybe even somewhere hot and sunny. So he fetched his trusty paintbrush and began to paint a giant circle on the floor. Then, with a hop, hop, boing! He jumped into the freshly painted rabbit hole, excited for today's adventure. Where do you think Koos will go today? Can you guess? Whee! Around the vortex, Koos twisted and turned down the rabbit hole until eventually... thud! Koos landed flat on his tummy onto the dusty floor below. He could feel the sun beating down on his back and the dry taste of sand in his mouth. Yuck! As he lifted his head and looked around, he was surrounded by colorful buildings and big, prickly plants that stood tall above him. Reaching into his bag, he pulled out his compass, which pointed west. Koos suddenly realized where he was. The Wild West. Koos stood up and dusted himself off. The sun was shining so brightly that it was hard for him to see. So tricky, in fact, that when a big brown horse started to gallop towards him, he didn't see it coming. Hey, watch out, Koos! Whoosh! Oops, too late. Koos fell backwards and landed on a cactus which pricked him in the bottom. Ouch! Koos shot into the air, then with a 1, 2, 3, Koos bravely pulled the needle out from his bottom. With a clip-clop, 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 the horse quickly galloped back to Koos. She felt bad for accidentally knocking him over.
Well, howdy, partner. I'm Rosie. Are you okay?
She asked. Koos nodded his head. He was much better now. As a way of saying sorry, Rosie offered to take Koos on a tour around the Wild West. So Koos climbed onto her back and they began to ride around the town together. They saw a bank filled with gold, a school filled with children, a train filled with passengers, and even a jail filled with thieves. Koos and the horse didn't want to visit the jail, so they kept on riding. Can you think of anything else you might find in the Wild West? They walked and walked until eventually they arrived at the entrance of a ranch. The ranch was crowded with horses of every color and size. What color horses can you see? Koos looked up to a sign that hung above them, which read, "The Wild West's annual horse race." It looked like so much fun. Rosie explained that she had never entered the race before because she'd never had a partner to race with. It was then that Koos had a great idea. He could be her partner. He had never taken part in a horse race before either, but how hard could it be? Koos and the horse signed up and got ready to race. On your marks, get set, go!
Well, hold on tight, Koos.
clip clop, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop. Each of the horses galloped as fast as they could, twisting, turning, slipping and sliding as they went. Everyone cheered and clapped as horses rushed out of the ranch and into the town. Hey, watch out for that barrel! Whoosh!
Yeehaw!
Rosie was amazing, and together, her and Koos made the best team. They galloped on and looked behind them as the rest of the horses tried their best to keep up, until suddenly, crash! They ran into a bale of hay, and Koos shot up into the air. Thinking quick, he pulled the kite from his bag and used it as a lasso to hook himself onto a sign above him. As the rest of the horses ran past, Rosie tried her very best to catch up with them, accidentally leaving Koos behind. Koos knew that she could never win the race without a partner, so holding his kite above his head, he glided through the air like an eagle. Whoosh! Until... bonk! He landed on Rosie's back just in time to finish the race. Hooray! They finished the race and came third place. They even won a bag of golden nuggets. Rosie couldn't believe they had done so well and began to celebrate. She cheered, but Koos wasn't happy. He wanted to win, not come third place.
Cheer up, Koos,
Rosie said.
It doesn't matter that we didn't win, as long as we had fun. Did you have fun?
Koos nodded with a smile. Rosie was right. It was fun, and Koos had made a new friend along the way. As the sun began to set, Koos decided it was time to leave. He patted Rosie on the head and waved goodbye. When Koos arrived back home, he put his pajamas on and climbed into bed. He had learned a very important lesson today and made a new friend too. I wonder what adventure tomorrow will bring, he thought, as he slowly shut his eyes and dreamt of all the amazing places he was yet to still discover. The end.